What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. And as you can see from the box sitting right here, we finally got parts for the Fox Racer. We bite the bullet and we didn't order the crankshaft because it wasn't in stock. It only comes in August, but we can't wait that long, so we got the other parts and we're gonna put in the old crankshaft. I'm gonna do an unboxing video like I did with JMPB parts. I'm gonna do this for Motorkit as well. Even though they don't have the crankshaft in stock, they deserve a little bit of love because we got parts from them. And as you know, from every single shop that I order, I do an unboxing video. So let's open it up, see what we got. First of all, that I can see, we have some stickers right here. This one is a really nice one. I didn't have this one before. I think I have orange and green, but I didn't have a full black one. So that is pretty nice. That is going on a nice spot. Next up, we got some packing material. Never seen it in this material before. Normally it is just cardboard, but yeah, so a lot of parts right here. There are some parts for the RCX for my build, and there are parts for the Fox build. So you're gonna see parts for the RCX and for the Fox. First part right here, I know what this is. These are tire levers. As you saw before, when I take off tires, I always use screwdrivers, and it's time to get a little bit more professional and get me some tire levers. So here they are, they come in 3. They're gonna help me get those tires on and off pretty easy. So yeah, an upgrade in my toolbox. Next up is also another tool, and this tool is a flywheel puller. When we took apart the Fox Racer, getting the flywheel off of there was a little bit tricky, which is a little bit annoying, but with this part, it's just screws in there and then you tighten this bolt and the whole flywheel assembly comes off. So another tool, very handy if we should ever work on the bike again, or I have another flywheel that I need to take off and whatever. I think maybe this will fit on the RCX. I don't know for sure, but it surely fits on the Fox. Next up, we got these seals for the crankshaft. I got 2 of them. Hopefully I got the correct ones. We will see. So we got 2 of these to seal off the engine. So we have not a complete vacuum. What do we call it? Basically the leak down test will be 0, so yeah. Next up are these 5 small little baggies. There are very small parts in there. When you are building a custom bike, brake cables, gas cables and whatever, you have to make it a little bit custom. So with these little guys, you can make your own throttle cables. I used this on Little Monster and I ordered them again. Next up, I can see there are 2 bearings in here. And when I look at the box and I know how big the bearings are for the crankshaft for the Fox, these should be from the back wheel of my RCX. I'm gonna ream the RCX at one point. So I'm starting to order the parts, and these are the bearings that I need for the back wheel. Next part, a belt. And this belt is also for the RCX. There are a lot of parts for the RCX in here. I'm trying to build up my stock, so when I start building on it, we don't have the same problem as with the Fox that the parts are not in stock. But this is a belt for my RCX. It is a very nice Technics belt, so that is going to be handy when we start working on that. To continue with the RCX parts, we have this little piece. This is for my Variator of my RCX. When I first did the RCX build, there's gonna be a playlist in the description down below if you want to check that out. This part was a little bit worn, and I told myself when I order new parts, I'm gonna replace that part. So here it is, here is that part. It is black, the previous one was white. I don't think you can see it on the engine, but yeah, here it is. It's a black one right now. Now let's do some Fox parts. That's why you're here. This is the piston. We're gonna reinstall a new piston with new piston rings. And here it is. Here is a stock piston. We got the connector piece. We got the C-clips. We got the piston rings. And here is the piston itself. Look at that. Nice and pretty. A new piston, which will work perfectly. The problem with the previous piston was that the piston rings were seized in there. Not really seized in there, but with carbon buildup and whatever, the piston rings were stuck in there. That's why we were losing compression and the bike didn't run that good. Starting the bike was a little bit of trouble. It died because expansion, and we got back pressure through the piston rings, and that's why the bike didn't work properly. Next up, also some bearings. These are bigger bearings. That means they are the bearings for the crankshaft, which we desperately need. We couldn't install the crankshaft before because we didn't have the bearings. And look at these guys. These are one hefty bearings. I mean, for an engine that small, these are pretty big bearings. So yeah, we got 2 of them because they are the same at both sides. So with this we can install the old crankshaft. This is the parts that we were waiting for. These are the parts that we desperately need, but we couldn't find them around here. But with Motorkit.com we got them. So yeah, here are the bearings. Pretty excited about this. Next up, 2 gaskets. These are 2 identical gaskets. These are for the bottom of the cylinder, so we can mount the cylinder. Now, why do I have 2? One is for the Fox, one is for the RCX. They should be the same. So yeah, we can install it and our engine will be sealed. Now, when you got the bottom gasket, you need the top gasket. So we also got that for the Fox. I don't got that for the RCX because my RCX is a liquid cooled engine. The Fox is the air cooled engine. So we got this. Next gasket is the crankcase gasket, the one that goes in the middle. Yeah, not much to say about this. It is a gasket. We need it. So yeah. Looks pretty nice. And also the last piece is also a gasket. It is the gasket for the back housing where the gearing system is and whatever. When I started working on the bike and I rotated around, I saw that there was some oil leakage, some gear oil leakage. So I told the shade, hey, at one point we're gonna have to open it up, get the gasket. So when we open it up, we can replace the gasket with a fresh new one, and then we have a completely sealed engine. Now, no more parts in here. That was everything, and I'm pretty happy with what I got. Everything looks in order. So go check them out, motorkit.com. There is a link in the description down below. Now, I could install this crankshaft right now, but I'm gonna have to do some preparations on it, clean it up, so when we install it, we don't have any cleaning stuff to do. And also what I want to do, I want to put it in the freezer, because when you install crankshaft, it has to be cooled down so the metal shrinks, and installing it will be a lot easier. The crankshaft housing we can heat up, the bearings will pop into there, then we can start preparing our crankshaft housings. And when we do that, we can get the crankshaft out of the freezer, pop it in there, close it up, and then we are a big step further in completing the engine. So that is what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna store away these parts and start on the crankshaft. So the crankshaft is all cleaned up, nice and pretty again. I couldn't get every single spot totally clean, but it looks much more cleaner than before, and it will work. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Now I put it in a plastic bag. I put some lube in there to prevent it from rusting, because this is going into the freezer. And why is it going into the freezer? So we want the metal to shrink. So when we put it into the bearings, it will be a slip-on fit, and when the part heats up, it will clamp itself to the bearings. Now, because we have to put the bearings into the crankcase, I also wrapped the bearings inside of plastic, because those are also going into the freezer. So next week we're gonna split everything, make it all nice and clean, heat up the crankcase, get the bearings out of the freezer, put them into the crankcase, and then they will be locked in right there. This is just a process that people do to make stuff easier if you don't have a press. So that is what we're gonna do. So next week the crankshaft will be in there with the new bearings and of course the old crankshaft. That's unfortunate, but that's how it's gonna be. Now I'm gonna ask the shade to come help me, because it's gonna be a little bit tricky, because the freezer is far away, and when I'm heating it up I have to run over there. and yeah, it's all time lost. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask the shade to come help me out. One of us will heat up the part that needs to be expanded, then the other one is gonna go onto the freezer, get the parts, unwrap them, and then just drop them in there. So hopefully we have a nice clean process of reinstalling the crankshaft and we don't have any trouble. Of course, we're gonna have to use the gasket to put the crankcases back together, so that is gonna be a whole nother process. So that is the whole game plan for next week. Hopefully, if the shade has time. If he doesn't have time, we're gonna have to postpone the process of reinstalling the crankshaft. So when the shade is right here next beside me in next video, we're gonna reinstall the crankshaft. Now the parts that you saw me unbox in this video were all from Motorkit.com. You can check out Motorkit.com if you want to buy these parts or if you want to look for parts for your own bike. So that is gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And if you're not already subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.